Good evening and welcome to Epiphany Lutheran Church in Richmond, Virginia. My name is Kevin Barger. I'm the director of music here, and this is our Saturday evening social persisting music minute. We're glad that you've joined us, and I'm in a different place today. As I promised you last week, we might go on a little field trip today. I'm guaranteeing that most of you, if not all of you watching, have never been where I am right now. So I am in the organ pipes, in the organ chamber, if you will, and thought you might like to see what it is up here, because that's not something we typically would get to see. So I'm actually to the right of the altar if you are looking at the front of our sanctuary, and I'm actually behind what we call the swell shade, which is something you'll see a little bit later when we're playing. It opens and closes, and all of these pipes that are surrounded by right now are the ones that are on what we call the swell manual. And so if I want to be quieter, I can close the shade, which you'll see on the front later, and that makes things quieter, but all the sound is coming from back here. So in our first hymn for tomorrow, it's All Are Welcome, written by Marty Haugen, and this is it was an attempt for a text that was really looking for something that would portray how Jesus is offering unconditional love to everyone, and everyone is welcome at his table. How appropriate this would be for the times of unrest that we are experiencing right now. Originally, like many of the hymns we've talked about, this had 13 stanzas. We will not sing 13 tomorrow. It does not have that many. It has been reduced, and it was originally intended as a gift to a church in Minnesota. At the request of the editor, however, they wanted Marty Haugen to actually dedicate this to his aunt and uncle. And so he was looking for a tune to go with the text, and the tune that was under consideration was sort of the Kingsfold tune, and that's the one that goes da da dum dun 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 da da dun dun da da dum bum. You might know that from some other tunes that or texts we've sung with that. But it didn't quite work. He had extra words, and there was an all are welcome refrain at the end that needed to be added. So that tune was scrapped, and he created what was called a Two Oaks tune. The Two Oaks tune name came from the fact that there were two beautiful old oak trees in the front yard of his aunt and uncle's house, to whom this was dedicated. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. And particularly noting, these pipes right here actually are from the crumhorn, and that's going to be what you hear the melody played on during this particular hymn, will be coming from these pipes. So you get a front view of those. Hope you enjoy. All are welcome. Two Oaks. Hope you enjoyed that, and now we're going to move to Across the Crowded Ways of Life. And this hymn was written with a twofold purpose. The first purpose was they wanted to capture a piece of the sermon that we hear in Matthew 22:9, which is inviting everyone to the banquet. You can probably pick up on what the theme might be for tomorrow, that everyone was welcome at this banquet. And the second portion of this was that the Methodist Hymnal Committee wanted a hymn on city missions. So that's the twofold purpose of this hymn. And it was actually from what we had, can tell, something called A Prayer for the Multitudes. And Walton was the name that the hymn writer knew this tune by. But he also had, this tune has many other names. Germany is another popular one that we will often see. And this tune was highly, highly influenced by Beethoven. And you might hear some of that as you hear it. So it's from the Romantic period, and you'll hear a little Beethoven in there. I'm out here now outside of the swell box. I'm actually standing in some different pipes now, and just wanted you to be able to see that not all pipes are metal like we saw inside with the Crumhorn. Here you can see some different other pipes that we have that are wood, and these are some of our pedal pipes. Those are what I play with my feet. And then out here are also the grate pipes, and the grate is the other manual on the organ. So there are 2 manuals on our organ. Sometimes there are 3 or 4 or more. We only have 2 on ours. And these are the sounds that are heard from that manual. So we hope you enjoy We're Across the Crowded Ways of Life. And for our last hymn tomorrow, we will be doing My Life Flows On in Endless Song. The tune name for this is How Can I Keep From Singing? As we are approaching going back to in-person worship July 19th, which we of course look forward to, which will likely have no singing, it's very appropriate that we would be singing this How Can I Keep From Singing, as we consider that for our safety. This particular tune is Robert Lowry gets the credit for it, although there was some debate that this might have come from the Quaker or Shaker tradition. But we think, as best we can tell, it goes to Robert Lowry. And really what he's focusing on here is that Christ is the focus in the message. So it's not an airy kind of love, certainly not romantic love or the kind of love, but it's that deep Christ-centered love of God that we are talking about here. Here I am standing in the middle of some very unique looking things. So you can see right here we have the trumpets that go horizontally, and so so sometimes when you hear the really loud trumpet sounds coming from the organ, that's where they're coming from. And we enjoy having those, and they sometimes make you sit up straight if you're not paying attention. So you'll hear those in this particular arrangement of How Can I Keep From Singing. And you'll hear a lot of other things as well. This is a partita, so it's set up of 5 parts. You'll hear the theme, which is pretty basic at the beginning. And then the second one builds on the My Life Flows On, an Endless Song. So what you're going to feel is that flowing sensation. We also use the Zimbelstern in that one, and you'll get to see what that is. And those are the little sort of tinkly little bells that you hear. Don't use them very often, but they come certainly at Easter or Christmas. You might recognize them from those. And then we go to the third verse, which continues on with that, which says Above Earth Lamentations. So it's a more melancholy kind of feel that you'll hear. You'll hear the rich strings and some flutes from the organ. And then our fourth verse is actually No Storm Can Break. So it's not really loud, though. So it's actually juxtaposed with this very quick-moving, sort of busy piece that has a really relaxing quality to it, though. So, no storm can shake me. And then the last one is Christ of Lord in heaven and earth, and it's the big and bombastic one. So that's when you'll hear these trumpets. You'll hear just about every pipe up here, and hopefully you'll enjoy that. It's a pretty cool version of how this goes on. I hope you enjoy. joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed the field trip to the Organ Pipes, and I hope that you'll join us tomorrow morning for worship, of course, at 10:30 here on Facebook Live and our YouTube channel, as well as Coffee and Donuts on Zoom at 9 o'clock, and also the Apostles' Creed Bible study will be at 9 o'clock as well. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.